We'll begin the Planning Committee meeting of Akron City Council. Respectfully request a roll call.
Fusco.
Aye.
Kamer.
Aye.
Connor. Boys.
Aye.
Hannah.
Aye.
All committee members are present.
Thank you. I'd like to entertain a motion to accept the minutes of the last meeting.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, the ayes have it. Very good. We have one item that's up for a public hearing this afternoon. We will also have an additional one at 5 o'clock. The procedure is that the planning department will read in a recommendation from the planning department. We will then swear in any individuals that wish to testify before the committee, either in person or online. After they are sworn in, we'll open up the public hearing and hear from the community. After that's over, we will then have an opportunity for the committee to ask questions and then council to ask questions. And we'll basically repeat that procedure for the most part this evening at 5 o'clock. The only major difference is that the committee will then make a recommendation to all council, either in favor, against, or to table an item and take time. Those are the procedures that we follow. So Sarah Biviano, if you could please read in the first item, or the only item that's up for public hearing today.
Sure. It's an ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a dual-use marijuana dispensary at 1956 West Market Street and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Mr. Antonucci.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. Tango Ventures is seeking permission to establish a dual-use marijuana dispensary, Clutch Cannabis, at this location. Petitioner proposes to construct a single-story flat-roof building containing 2,480 square feet of area. The building will be flush with the sidewalk on West Market Street, consistent with other buildings on the block. Building materials will consist of stacked bond brick, metal panels, corrugated metal siding, and an opaque vinyl covering on the interior of the window glazing. A designated delivery area with secure fencing and a gate will be located southwest of the building. The existing parking lot to the south along Frank Boulevard will be reconfigured to accommodate 22 parking spaces. The southernmost curb cut along Frank Boulevard will be ingress only, with vehicles exiting the angled parking area via the curb cut to the north. Petitioner intends to operate the dispensary daily from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. With respect to traffic, the petitioner provided data quantifying the average number of daily trips by the hour the business is expected to generate. The city's traffic engineer reviewed the information and concluded the impact on the existing traffic operations to be minimal and that further study would not be needed. While the current parking area is in a degraded state, the proposed landscape parking redesign will allow adjacent businesses to maintain vehicular access to the rear of their properties. Solid fencing along a portion of the western property line will buffer any activity from the abutting apartment uses. Lighting and video surveillance, in addition to other state requirements for packaging and prohibited activities on the property, should mitigate any negative effects on the surrounding neighborhood. Goals of the Land Use and Development Guide Plan and the amended Wallhaven redevelopment area include encouraging the renovation or redevelopment of older neighborhood business districts and guiding the location of new retail developments so that it will be convenient to residents served and will have minimal impact on adjacent properties. The proposed construction of the dual-use dispensary would repurpose an almost decade-long vacant lot at this prominent intersection and will be harmonious with abutting uses. Both the Planning Commission and Planning staff recommend approval subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Antonucci. Sarah Biviano, could you please swear in any individuals that wish to testify this afternoon?
Sure. If you wish to testify for this afternoon for this public hearing, could you please stand and raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, please say, I do.
I do.
Thank you.
Very good. At this point, we'll go ahead and open up the public hearing and ask if there's anyone here wishing to testify before the committee in favor of this conditional use request.
Good evening, or afternoon, excuse me, that's for later tonight.
My name is Pete Nisht. I believe I know most of the people in this room. I am Vice President of Compliance and Communications at Clutch Cannabis. So I'm here to speak on behalf of Tango Ventures LLC and Clutch about this project. I have a deck here I'd like to share with you if you want to walk through it with me real quick. My plan is to go over this now and then be present at council later if there are any further questions.
Sure, thank you.
Cool.
If you can please provide for us too, I forgot to mention your address.
1951 Wiltshire Road, Akron, Ohio, 44313. I am literally 1 minute from this location that we're speaking about today.
Thank you. Thanks. Ooh, there's a lot.
And I should have more of these coming here in a second. We had a printer malfunction. So I'm going to start with just a brief introduction about the company. I think, like I said, most of you may be familiar with us already. We've been operating in Akron since 2018. We employ hundreds of people here. We're a state licensed entity. We've got a cultivation and processing facility on Home Avenue in North Hill and another cultivation facility located at the border of Cuyahoga Falls and Akron down in the Merriman Valley. Clutch was founded by our CEO, Adam Tamarius, who is also with me here today. We are a 100% Ohio-owned and operated company and still headquartered in Akron. It's something that we're really proud of. We currently operate between the two facilities that I mentioned around 199,000 plus square feet of cultivation and manufacturing space, and we've been recognized nationally for the kind of stores that we build. We do have several operating already in Ohio, one in downtown Canton, one in Lorraine, one in Loudonville. We're opening one in downtown Cleveland here on Friday, and we're hope to open another one in Northfield later in August. We'll also have more opening here later in 2025, we think. So currently we employ about 300 people with a livable wage. That includes full medical, dental, and vision coverage, as well as a company match 401k. That is typical in other industries, but not typical in ours, so we're proud of that too. That was hard fought, trying to get somebody to bank a 401k program for a cannabis company. We've had some success, in terms of expansions, as I mentioned. We've been recognized nationally for the kind of stores that we build. We've been recognized here in the state as the best brand, best product brand, and having the best product. Just in 2024, won a couple of awards, and we were also awarded or have been given a notification that the state of Florida will eventually be awarding us a cannabis license there. We placed third out of 74 applicants in the most recent application process there. Needless to say, we have decades of experience doing this, whether it's cultivation, manufacturing, compliance, law, extraction, pharmacy, retail experience. We have a really good, tight-knit team. And here's another member of our team here, Jason Butterworth, is our general counsel. On the next page here, I'm not going to read all of this, but I wanted to highlight the history of philanthropy that both the Tamarius family, Adam, and Clutch Cannabis have in the area. There is a giant list of local and national organizations here, many of which you probably recognize, that we have contributed to collectively recently here. Next page is so a little bit of information on facility demographics. The last time I came before council, and this is now several years ago, I was asked about the demographic makeup of our workforce here in Akron. We are large enough now that we're filing annual EEOC-1 forms, so we have this information, and I wanted to provide it. I think that it shows, going from starting in 2021, going up to 2024, when the most recent form was filed, we have made significant progress towards our commitment to look like the communities that we serve and operate in, and I'm happy to answer some questions about that later if you have any as well, okay? All right, so why 1956 West Market Street? This is really a perfect location for us. It's extremely difficult and expensive for us to find properties that meet all of the state and local requirements for medical and dual-use marijuana dispensaries. We've spent millions of dollars over the past few years trying to find properties just like this. It's extremely difficult, and this corridor is there's a very, very narrow window of space, geographically speaking, where we could locate a store. We see a real need in West Akron. We think West Akron lacks access to safe, compliant, tested, taxed, medical and adult use cannabis products. Right now, if you're in West Akron and you're looking for a brick and mortar store and you're not willing to drive outside of your neighborhood, all that you're left with is vape shops, bootleg cannabis products that we would not recommend anybody ingest. And so we think that we're going to be delivering a real service here to the community. As I mentioned before, we're Akron proud. It's been our dream for years now to have a flagship store here in the city, and this is our chance to do it. 4 out of 6 of our executive team members live in Akron, within 15 minutes of this location. That's our CEO, myself, our general counsel, and our VP of production, and so will many of the employees, including the future general manager of the store. We think that we are a perfect fit for this neighborhood and this block specifically. We think the character of the neighborhood matches the upscale, premium aesthetic of our stores, and we're going to endeavor to convert this vacant lot into the nicest building on the block. I know that everybody feels a little competitive when we say that, but we like a little competition. This is a multi-million-dollar investment that we expect will increase property values on neighboring lots. We also know that in West Akron, and we look at this every time that we're trying to source a location, we know that West Akron voted overwhelmingly in favor of these kind of businesses and in favor of issue 2 generally. And I have some voter data here on the next few pages just to demonstrate that. I won't read all of this, but in Akron, or in Summit County rather, 60.56% of people voted in favor of issue 2. There was overwhelming approval in Akron. 10 out of 10 wards voted in favor. Akron voted 71.06% in favor of issue 2. Drilling down closer, in Ward 8, where we will be located, and I've asterisked the 3 precincts where that we are kind of touching here at this within Ward 8. Ward 8 in general voted 65.66% in favor. As you can see, approval is even higher in the precincts that we're touching. In Ward 4, we are also touching 2 precincts in Ward 4. We're right where 5 different precincts converge. Ward 4 voted 74.63% in favor, all 14 out of 14 precincts there. And the precincts that we're touching voted in favor of it overwhelmingly as well. And I just kind of drilled down further on this final page, showing that, if you aggregate the approval of issue 2 amongst those 5 precincts, we're still at 71.30%. So from an electoral perspective, from a candidate perspective, if you're running for office and you get 71.3% of the vote, that is an absolute landslide. That's the community that we're looking to operate in, okay? So how does a dispensary benefit Akron? Just real quick. There was a lot of talk this year in the legislature about whether or not the host community fund, which was a part of issue 2, that guaranteed that essentially 36% of the excise tax would go back to the communities within which those sales were generated to benefit for any approved purpose, any purpose that you guys want, would just go into the general fund. There was some confusion over whether or not that was going to be kept in place by the legislature and by the governor as they considered the budget. This was enshrined in the budget in perpetuity, and our understanding is that they fixed the mechanism that was preventing cities like Akron from getting to take advantage of the tax revenue that's already been collected. So I wanted to just make it clear that that is now enshrined in law. It's been reconsidered by the legislator and by the governor, and they've kept it. Okay. Just brief project details here. We expect an investment of $1.5 to $2 million at this site. That is in addition to the tens upon tens of millions of dollars that we've already invested in Akron at the facilities that we operate. As far as oversight, we are regularly inspected and vetted by the Division of Cannabis Control and their inspectors. That's both announced and unannounced state audits. There is also a local licensing requirement, as you know, that requires an annual security inspection by the Akron Police Department. We are very familiar with that process because we've been doing it here since 2018. And we also expect the General Assembly to eventually add oversight, additional oversight, via the Ohio Investigative Unit. Hours of operation at this site, we're going to be open 7 days a week. We're limited by law between 7 a.m. and 11 p.m. We're not going to operate at that breadth. We think we'll probably land between 10 a.m. and 9 p.m. or 10 a.m. and 10 p.m., really dependent upon demand, patient need, customer need, that kind of thing. As far as jobs, we expect around 15 full-time and part-time employees. These are going to be offered, these employees will be offered our best-in-class benefits package. This is exactly what I was going over before. We have heard some concerns about odor mitigation, so I wanted to address that before I get into the larger points here. This is a standard component of dispensary infrastructure. Our stores that are operating have had literally zero complaints about odor. Cannabis cannot be smelled either inside or outside of the stores. And all of our stores are focused on those in need. We provide priority access and discounts for medical patients, veterans, and those with indigent status. Before I get into the rest of the points I wanted to address, I wanted to give you guys a couple pictures of what this is going to look like when it's done. There's some digital renderings here. This first one is a view from South Frank Boulevard. The next one is a view from West Market Street. As you can see, this is state-of-the-art. It's clean, good landscaping. These next few pictures are actual images of the interiors of our dispensaries in Canton and in Lorain, and I invite anybody to come check them out if you're interested. This first one is our Canton lobby. Next is the Canton sales floor. After that is the Lorain lobby and the Lorain sales floor. You'll notice that there are displays here, and it looks like there's packaging on display. By state law, we are prohibited from having any product out on the floor. This is not a grab-and-go situation. There's nothing visible behind the counter. Everything is kept in back of house, and as orders are fulfilled, they are discreetly packaged and provided to people when the transaction is completed, all right? All right. The following pages, I wanted to address some of the concerns that we've heard from neighbors, from the city. We just wanted to spell this out again in addition to the information that we've already provided to the Planning Commission and the Planning Department. This is one of the lightest possible retail uses that could be placed in this retail zone property. It pales in comparison to other restaurants, bars, and shops that could locate here. Our traffic is going to be low. So per data that was aggregated and mentioned already from our stores in Canton, Lorain, provided to the Planning Commission and the Planning Department, we expect traffic counts to be light. We are only really seeing 100 to 120 transactions per day. To give you a comparison, like a fast food, like a Burger King, which could be placed at this location, might see 1,000 transactions a day with a drive-through. This is literally a drop in the bucket when you look at traffic counts both on South Frank and West Market Street. Additionally, the transactions, the time at which they take place, are controlled. So 50 to 60% of the transactions that we do at our stores are via online pre-orders at scheduled pickup times. So the way that works is that patients and customers that are familiar with us will go to our website. They'll build out a cart, place a pre-order. They still have to come to the store to complete the transaction. But at the last step, they will select from an available list of time slots when they can come and pick up what they've ordered. Once the time slots are taken, they're off the available list, so somebody has to come and pick a different time slot. That's another way for us to regulate the flow of patients. We do that not only to kind of continue to deliver an excellent experience where everybody gets the attention that they need, but also because we are required by the state to maintain a certain patient-to-customer ratio or patient and customer to employee ratio within the store to keep numbers low and make sure that everybody's getting proper attention and is overseen. Security will be on site. That's another integral part of what we do. We'll have an on-site security team. They'll also be actively managing the flow of customers through the building, through check-in and out in the parking lot even, all right? The average length of customer visits at our stores is between 5 and 10 minutes. This is very, very short, all right? The other thing I wanted to mention before moving on is that we expect this traffic itself, generated by this facility, to be a lot less than what we have historically seen in years past. So if you think about Larry's, which is now a private business, I used to go to Larry's a lot when I was younger. Larry's would be packed. I don't know if it was 50 or 60 people in there for an extended period of time. Larry's is no longer operating like that. And as I'll mention in this next section, we also have Pink Petals under contract to purchase. So if you think about the way that this block, this strip of businesses used to operate, even after we build this out, there will have been a lot more traffic in years prior than there ever will be now. We have, I wanted to talk a little bit about approval by neighboring property owners. So at this point in time, none of the neighboring property owners in this stretch, that includes the property owner that owns Pink Petals, that includes the people that own Larry's, and that includes Ken Stewart's. None are in opposition of our project at this point. As I mentioned, we have Pink Petals under contract. We're going to be purchasing that property. Larry's is now private. We have a letter of support from one of the property owners, excuse me, and Ken Stewart's and Clutch have reached an agreement on how we're going to proceed together at this site. There is an alley behind these businesses that's privately owned. We've offered to contribute money to pay for a gate, and add some additional signage and wayfinding both on our website, in literature, as well as outside of the store and within the store, to let people know that they're not to park anywhere but in the provided parking spaces. And I think you're welcome to look into this. At the end of here, I have these letters of support, as well as those from other people that we've worked with. But we have a record of support and collaboration with both the City of Akron and the communities that we've operated in. As far as the parking plan, parking has generated some questions. The code required spaces here are 13. We have on-site spaces totaling 22 spots. We also have secured overflow spaces as needed marked here in red on this map. We have 10 additional spots there. So that's 32 parking spaces compared to the code required 13. We have ample parking. We don't think that we're going to need all of this. We're not sure that we'll ever even need these additional overflow spaces. As far as our safety and security plan, we have seen through both our experience and now I believe there's public data that the city may have showing this, that due to the stringent safety and security requirements, Ohio dispensaries actually improve the safety in the neighborhoods where they operate by providing an active security presence and constant surveillance that can be utilized by law enforcement. So I think there is now City of Akron crime data showing that in the areas where past dispensaries have located, crime has decreased a little bit, and the surveillance on the exterior of the buildings has also proved to be a resource for law enforcement. We see this also in Lorraine, where we've been able to provide surveillance to law enforcement even if there's a traffic accident out front. We are designed to provide multiple angles of viewing, so overlapping camera coverage, and that is all of that footage is stored for 45 days in the cloud and accessible by the state, by law enforcement at any time. So this is a real community resource. In Cleveland, I just had a meeting at the end of last week with Downtown Cleveland Incorporated. They actually have a program to aggregate external surveillance at businesses for this very purpose, and they're really excited about us joining their retail corridor there because they know that we have excellent surveillance capabilities, and they want to be able to take advantage of it to make the neighborhood safer. We have zero tolerance for loitering, on-site consumption, litter, and other mischief. All that's prohibited. If we don't prohibit it, our license is in jeopardy with the state, and we also have a local license here, so if we're causing problems in the community, we can also lose our license that way, all right? So we don't take any chances with that sort of thing. We have the ability to provide both cash-based and cashless transactions within the store. We have, as I mentioned, on-site security to monitor the property, both the interior and exterior, help us manage patient flow, customer flow. We have a state-of-the-art security system that includes 24/7 HD camera surveillance, as I mentioned, controlled access and biometric access, audible and silent alarms, including panic alarms, motion detectors. We've used vibration detectors, third-party monitoring. These facilities are built like fortresses, and Clutch has always gone above and beyond when securing its facilities. This will be no different. I encourage you guys to contact Dave Garrow at the Akron Police Department. He is very familiar with our operation here in Akron already, and we have a very good relationship. He's very familiar with how we operate. We do redundant ID checks. So if you're not a medical patient, if you're just purchasing as an adult use customer, you need to be 21 and up with an ID. A government-issued ID or a passport, something like that, in order to be admitted both into the lobby as well as into and onto the sales floor. And like I said, it's redundant. We check multiple times. We check once at the door when we get you checked in, and then we check again before we complete your transaction, just to make sure that there are no issues. We are required to do that, just like a liquor store would be. There are criminal penalties for both us and for people purchasing. If they purchase underage, we can lose our license. Our employees can use their state badges. So it's very, very serious. We take it very, very seriously. As far as inventory control, all the products are inventoried in Metric, which is a state-mandated seed-to-sale cloud-based inventory tracking system, also accessible by the state, and anytime they can pop in and view it and see what we're doing whenever they want. You've seen images of renderings of what this is going to look like, but we're also going to include exterior lighting and landscaping. We know that data shows that those are also elements that improve safety and security in areas after they're installed. This is a premium retail experience. I like to think about this as like a high-end pharmacy or an Apple store with extra security that kind of rivals like bank security. I have some demographic details. There's a lot of confusion over what the average cannabis purchaser looks like in the state. I've got information on age. People oftentimes assume that this is a younger population, but in fact, over 50% of legal sales are to Gen X and older, as far as generations are concerned. Women account for 41% of sales. That is above the national average. We see people from all walks of life represented here. And also, I wanted to point out that 78% of those who use cannabis right now in the state of Ohio, regardless of whether or not they have a medical card, are actually treating an illness or symptoms with the products that they're purchasing. That's why we use the term adult use instead of recreational cannabis, because for a lot of people, they're purchasing this as an over-the-counter medication and not just as a recreational substance. I also have some details here about what people in past surveys have claimed that they're using their medical cannabis for. Next slide, just for informational purposes, is a list of the qualifying conditions that gain you access to a medical card here in the state. I've asterisked a few. These are conditions that I have personally petitioned the state to have added to the list, okay? And so we have a lot of experience. I wanted to mention that just to highlight our focus again on the medical program and its benefits for those who it's serving. Finally, just wanted to say that, we have a really long-standing history of being good community partners and corporate citizens here in Akron. The Tamarius family itself has been doing this for generations. Clutch is looking for a location for a flagship store. We employ a lot of people here. We've invested a lot of money here in the city. We are looking for a flagship store in the city of Akron. It's kind of bothered us for years now that we have this giant facilities here in the city, but we're unable to actually interact with customers face-to-face here in our own backyard. Stellar track record for compliance, safety, stewardship, that kind of thing. There's supporting documentation at the end of this, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Is there anyone else here wishing to testify before the committee in favor of the proposal at 1936 West Market Street? Anyone else wishing to speak in favor and or against? If you can please provide for us your name and address.
Sure. Matthew Miller, president of LRC Realty. We're the current owner of 1956 West Market. The address is 1585 Frederick Boulevard in Akron. So we're in contract to sell this location, And even after we do sell this, we will still have several $1 million worth of investment in the surrounding properties. So we own the Taco Bell across the street, we own the Starbucks on the other corner, we own the Walgreens, and we also own the AutoZone. And so before we entered the contract, we deliberated this internally very carefully to make sure that this was going to enhance the values of the surrounding assets that we own there and also complement those. As I mentioned, we are the existing owner of the property. We've had it for just about a decade now, and this site has been very difficult to develop. And there's been access issues, and again, we've had people that were interested in going there, tenants that wanted to go on this location, but it would either disrupt the traffic quite a bit, or it would be competitive to, say, Ken Stewart's and some of the other businesses there. And so at the end of the day, after careful deliberation, we feel this is a great use for this site. So we're in favor.
Thanks. Appreciate that. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Anyone? Anyone wishing to speak against this proposal? Anyone wishing to speak against? Anyone? Hearing, seeing no one. We'll now close the public hearing portion. Open up to any questions from any committee members at this time. Mr. Hanna?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Why didn't we get these a little bit earlier? Is there any reason we didn't get these a little bit earlier?
No, to be honest, that is very similar to the presentation that I gave to the Planning Commission. And we actually attended the Planning Commission twice before this reached you guys. I was working on updating that literally and printing it out 15 minutes before I got here.
Okay, my next question is, how do you know how many people are going to be coming to that facility because it's going to have dual use? Okay, if I'm just a Joe Blow that's want to come and get some recreational marijuana, how do you keep track of me and my other residents coming in there? You said that you knew how many people was going to be coming in.
Yeah. So the data that we based those transactions off of are at like locations that we operate. So we have direct access to that data. It's our data. And those are our stores in Canton and Lorraine, which we expect to be maybe even a little bit higher in terms of the number of transactions than this facility. Our understanding is that this is kind of what is happening in the market. The number right now of people entering dispensaries has kind of plateaued for now, and that is occurring at a time when the state itself is getting ready to issue or is in the process of issuing and approving a great deal more of these licenses as they expand the program, geographically throughout the state. So, we wanted to be, conservative, I guess, in our approach and give you what we thought was something that could happen, and not underrepresent the number of people that we think could be there. And I think that it's also what we're seeing in other dispensaries here locally in Akron as well. Numbers should be about the same. Additionally, we think that as state licensed dispensaries continue to open up around Summit County and around the state, the numbers that you're seeing at each dispensary are going to thin out as people kind of gravitate towards stores where they're nearer to where they're geographically located. In terms of how we're tracking people, if that's a separate question, so we do not track adult use customers in the same way that a liquor store does not track its customers. We do track purchase amounts. There's purchase limits, so somebody can't come to our store in the morning and then come in the afternoon and buy the same amount to exceed their purchase limits. We are also liable for pretty steep penalties if we allow that to occur. And so the state's thought that through. In terms of medical customers, that is tracked. Those transactions are tracked the same way that pharmaceutical drugs are tracked by the Ohio Board of Pharmacy and their RX tracking system. So essentially, when you go to the doctor, your doctor opens up something on a screen. one of the things he's looking at is he can see all your prescriptions and what you've picked up, right? So if you were a medical marijuana patient and you had been making transactions, he would also see those. And that's just because we are required that these patients have a certain allotment that they're allowed to purchase within a given amount of time. It acts similarly to refills, although it kind of functions as a maximum purchase amount, so most people don't purchase up to their maximum, but we're required to report it to help ensure that nobody acquires more than they're allowed.
Okay, very good. Good? Okay.
Last question.
Okay. Brief, we have a couple more meetings up ahead.
Okay, I understand. Okay. I had the opportunity to go down on North Street. There was a facility on North Street. I was very impressed when I got there. And I had the opportunity to come out on West Market Street that same day. And as I was trying to get into one of the restaurants out there close to Frank Boulevard, there was high traffic congestion there, especially with that Taco Bell. I got in the wrong lane. And what did I do that for? Because it took me an additional 5 minutes to get out of that lane and go west on Market Street. So I know the city approved the traffic studies. So, and then I don't see anybody here that's opposing this either. So that's a plus in your favor.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I see Linda Mobian.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Pete, for that presentation. My concerns are this. Why 7 days instead of 6? That's number one. The second one is, I understand the traffic that you've kept track of, but I still am concerned that we as a city, we've not done a traffic study because I'm not that I don't trust the numbers, but I can tell you that I drive that. I live 5 minutes away from that, and that is a very busy intersection, very busy. As stated, there's Taco Bell, Ken Student within that block that they're talking about building in, CVS across the street. There's a car wash next to Taco Bell, and it's always very busy and very congested. Are you still planning to do the other location at 730 West Market Street? That has come up. And my last question has to do with, aside from polling, voting data, what gives you the information that there are people in West Akron that are interested in purchasing these products? So those are my 4 questions. If you don't remember them, I can rattle them off again if the chair allows me.
The one question I believe I could answer, and that's the one I think referencing 730 West Market Street, and that's to be scheduled for a public hearing. So, and this is a separate entity. So on that piece of it, we are not addressing that one today. We're just addressing this particular one. Briefly, Pete.
In terms of, I mean, we do have some data from our own stores about where people live and in terms of where our customers live. That said, we don't operate a store currently in Summit County, but we do have patient data that shows certain numbers of patients in the county within certain zip codes. It's gotten the Division of Cannabis Control, I think, publishes that on a quarterly basis. So we do know that people are accessing the program and utilizing the program. I live a minute away myself. I drive this intersection at least twice a day, 3-4 times a day. I literally am a patron of every single business on that corner, and there are certainly times during rush hour when traffic is high, but that said, generally speaking, traffic is low. There was one car in the Starbucks parking lot this morning at 8 a.m. when I drove by. So, it's not in the drive-through. So we know that there are people that are accessing the program in this area. And we know that right now, if you're in West Akron, you have to drive all the way downtown to access the program. So we think that based on where we're situated, being headquartered in Akron, having invested tens of millions of dollars in the city already, this is a perfect location for us. And finally, as I mentioned before, this is a retail zoned property. It is currently vacant. It's been vacant, I think, for years now. We think that, and there is going to be a business. This property will be developed. There will be a business there. And we are literally the lightest possible use that you can imagine in terms of traffic and the number of transactions that we expect to do a day. And so I think that unless this land is no longer usable for those concerned about traffic, this is really a good deal, and it also generates extra sales tax for the city through the host community fund that's in Chapter 3780 of the revised code. Why we're operating 7 instead of 6? That's part of our business model. With such low transaction numbers, we need to operate 7 days a week, and patients need access to medicine 7 days a week.
Thank you. Linda, you okay?
Yes, the question about the traffic study, is there a reason why we haven't done one as a city?
The traffic engineer reviewed it. I don't want to answer for the planning department, but after the traffic engineer reviewed it, as in with all conditional use zoning, every department puts hands on it and eyes on these proposals beforehand, and it was the traffic engineer, I understand, that didn't believe that it needed further study, but there was a study that was done, I believe, by the petitioners, which I believe we should have.
The traffic engineer reviewed the anticipated additional traffic and felt that no additional study was needed, nor were any mitigations necessary in terms of the site plan in order to accommodate all of that.
Okay, thank you. Okay?
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Lombardo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to say a few words rising in favor of this ordinance supporting the conditional use, because some things I caught from Mr. Nitch's presentation. They're a dispensary, okay? It's not a vape shop. They're a state license and highly, tightly regulated business. So, and they live and breathe, the owners, they live and breathe in Akron. They invest millions into the city, and both on a corporate level and I'm sure on a personal level too. As far as the traffic study goes, the congestion really doesn't fall on them. Taco Bell could have free tacos on Tuesdays or whatever. Ken Stewart might have a special on steaks. So really all that traffic doesn't fall on just this business. They bring jobs to the city. The security plan has been top-notch. They go over and above, even working with the Akron Police Department on certain things with their surveillance cameras. So, and like Pete said, zero tolerance for loitering around that business. So they are committed, or the surrounding businesses are maybe not committed, supporting them into their neighborhood. So that's a plus. And then, as far as parking goes, even though they have scheduled times for people to pick up their medication, supposed to only have 13 spots. He said they have 22. In fact, they have 32. So all these things, to me, I would support this ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lombardo. Anyone else? Mr. Bolden?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Obviously, this is my ward, and I've fielded a lot of calls and emails over the last few weeks since this came up. I will say a couple things here. This Clutch and Tango Ventures has been, we brought this up at my last two ward meetings. The first ward meeting, we brought it up, and then the second meeting, representatives from Clutch were here. And they talked with residents, and they answered questions. I'm going to say for a good hour and a half, maybe. Councilman Fusco was here, and we talked about the process of all the things from planning commission up into going to council and conditional zoning. They have been up front. When I've asked for information, they provided it. I had had some of this that they had presented at the ward meeting. Did not have pictures of the building. But they did talk about all the things they're doing, and they did talk about the representative from the owner of the property was there too. Residents are not happy in my ward. The ones that have talked to me, obviously. The ones that I'm thinking that are for it are probably not going to call me and say, hey, we're for this. But, you know, my job as a council person is to represent the voices that come out of my ward. And for me, I will be voting against this because of the residents in my ward. There was a reference to a traffic study, and I know, I don't think the city actually does traffic studies. We usually have AMETs do that, but as was said earlier from Planning Director Kyle Julian, because I asked that too, and they said, the planning director, the traffic engineer said the amount of traffic would not affect this intersection already. I appreciate them coming down, I appreciate the information, and appreciate all of you being here to hear this. This is something that has been pretty hot and heavy in my ward for the last, definitely the last 2 weekends, as my phone and email have pretty much blown up. And I've talked to a lot of people, and we've emailed back and forth. But I want to thank everybody for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Bolden. Anyone else? Any further questions or comments? Okay, with that, we'll go ahead and invite you back this evening at 5 o'clock. We'll have an additional meeting. Thank you for coming down this afternoon. We'll make a recommendation at 5 o'clock, either in favor, against, or to table the item. Thank you again for coming down. Thank you. We'll now move on to the balance of the agenda. Going to recommend, let's see here, time on 1 through and including, I believe, 5, short of any questions or concerns. Item number 6, I think Mr. Volleman is here for, in case there's any questions or comments. I don't know if we fielded any or not. This is in reference to the Akron Summit County Energy Special Improvement District and levying special assessments for the purpose of the cost of that particular project. So wanted to give everyone an opportunity to review all the data that came forth. If there's no questions or comments, I'd like a recommendation for suspension of the rules with a favorable report. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Against, the ayes have it. Item number 7 is the same explanation. Is there a recommendation for suspension of the rules? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, the ayes have it. Very good. We will now take time on 8 through and including 12. And this 822 is I do have a correspondence with the Ward Council person, Mr. DeShazer. This is 822 West Market Street. I believe this is the one that's next to the Highland Theater. And we've had time to study it, look at it. I know some concerns were brought forth from the community. And so I would like to see an adverse report on this particular item. A recommendation for adverse.
I'll make the recommendation for an adverse report.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of an adverse report signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Very good, the ayes have it. With that, we're going to go ahead and take time, I believe, on the balance of the agenda, short of any questions or concerns. We'll now move into the new list of legislation. Respectfully request that Sarah Biviano read in the first item, please.
Item number 1 is an ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts with Rebuilding Together Northeast Ohio for the provision of services necessary to facilitate the Lead Safe Akron program and declaring an emergency.
Yes, anybody here on this? Welcome.
Okay, this is for Rebuilding Together to take on approximately 20 jobs for our lead program. They won through the RFP, and we are asking that they be allowed to be approved for this ordinance so they can do the work in our program.
Very good. Is it the same in dollar amount and all that?
Yeah, it's the same dollar amount, same grant. They're just one of our partner agencies we'll be partnering with.
Very good.
We have an RFP out for some others too. With this, they're the first one to come through with the RFP.
Okay, cool. Thank you. It's in the dollar amounts, the 560. This is a pass-through through HUD, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, very good. Questions, comments? Is there a recommendation for suspension of the rules with a favorable report? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, the ayes have it. Very good. Item number 2, Ms. Viviano.
Item number 2 is an ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into a contractor contracts with Rebuilding Together Northeast Ohio to operate the minor home repair program for fiscal years 2025 to 2026 and declaring an emergency.
Yes, Mr. Taylor.
Yes. This is for them to operate the minor home repair program, which they've been doing for a number of years. They've done a very good job with this. This is basically renewing their contract for $400,000 to operate the program through 25 and 26, assisting approximately 50 to 70 seniors in the Akron area.
So this particular program here is focused exclusively on senior housing?
Seniors and disabled, low income, yes.
Okay, and this is, again, like a HUD program?
Correct. It's CDBG funded.
CDBG, okay, gotcha. Look here, senior citizen. And now this is also exclusively for which wards? Is it based on the whole city?
It's based on the whole city.
Okay.
It's on an as-need basis for seniors, mainly seniors.
Gotcha. What's the minor home repair definition?
It's to basically assist homeowners with home repairs that they may need, up to approximately $10,000. But sometimes they go over. Roofs obviously cost a little more, but they've been installing roofs, handicap access, showers and bath things that some of the other agencies aren't able to provide. They provide hot water tanks, and in the wintertime, we have a setback amount for them to provide some assistance to people that have furnaces that can't get assistance anywhere else. So we've kind of broke it up into several different sections.
Is there a match requirement?
No match requirement.
In this, how much is here? 400 from the
$400,000.
feds, I should say. Silly me, 400. That handles about how many houses?
Approximately 50, sometimes 70. You know, if they're under 10,000 apiece, we get more. You know, they try to stay around 5, but with today's prices, they're up pretty high.
Gotcha. Very good. Questions or comments from anyone? Sharon Connor?
Just a quick question. On both of these programs, can we get a list of the families that are being served with these?
Rebuilding Together, I would have to get from them on this one here that we're talking about, the minor home repair. They usually do provide that in a yearly report, which I can get to you.
That would be great.
All the homeowners that receive assistance through the Lead Safe Akron program are on our website. We list every home that receives assistance on the city's website.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Questions or comments? Any further? Suspension of the rules, okay. Is there a recommendation? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Against, the ayes have it. Very good, thank you.
Okay,
We have
thank
a
you.
brief presentation at this moment referencing the Great Streets, an update in reference to that. We're promised it should only last about 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes tops.
We can make that work.
Good.
Hello, members of the committee, other members of council. Sean Bowman, Deputy Director of Economic Development. I believe you all know Isaiah Young. I don't know if you know him officially in the role as the Great Streets Administrator. He has taken on that role since LaTonda Mobley left. And we are happy here today to give a presentation that we're going to be relaunching the Great Streets grants again.
Good to hear.
So I will let Isaiah take it away.
Thanks, Sean. Thank you, Mr. Chair, committee members. Really exciting news. I know a lot of my time in this new role has been spent getting this program launched, and so really excited to say that next Monday, I believe is the 4th, we'll be accepting applications for 2 separate grant initiatives through the Great Streets. One is a matching facade grant, which covers a host of different things, but of course just facade improvements, but lighting, signage, those sorts of things. And then there's also a micro enterprise grant, and that's up to $5,000 with no match. And that's just really for general operations. And we're just excited to have this opportunity, and then we got the funds through CDBG to do this program. And so if any businesses in your wards are interested, please have them apply. We're happy to get as many applications as possible. So.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. A quick question. Enterprise, that's like for operating expenses?
correct. Yes.
Excuse me, and that's the 5K?
Yes.
Okay. And then the 30, is that's the max?
It's 20, sorry if I
Oh, I'm
said 30.
sorry, 20?
Yep. So up to 20, yep, and it's 100% match.
Okay, so yeah, so the applicant would be required to match up to 20K.
Correct.
Which could be used for the facade and/or roof
Correct.
and/or parking lot, asphalt?
Parking is an eligible expense.
Ineligible.
Is an eligible expense.
Is ineligible. No, I'm joking.
You can do it.
It's eligible.
Yes.
Just joking, trying to lighten the mood a little bit. Any further questions from anybody? Tina?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Who qualifies for the microenterprise grant? How are those decided upon?
Yeah, so that's the guidelines from CDBG, which is 5 or fewer employees, one of which is the owner.
5 or fewer.
Correct.
Okay. 5 or fewer. Further questions from anyone? CDBG funds, yes, Mr. DeShazer?
I just had a recent inquiry from a business that asked if they were to look at energy efficiency equipment, would that qualify?
Not in and of itself, no. I mean, I don't think that, a new boiler, you're replacing a boiler or something along those lines would qualify. It has to be facade related. If it's facade related, we would look at it and it would be. We'd look at it and have to see, but, it wouldn't make it, if they could be energy efficient and qualify as one of the improvements, that'd be great. Yeah. And we are looking at the existing Great Streets boundaries for this project. And the other difference is when Great Streets was originally launched, it was set up as a matching grant. There is also a committee that reviewed applications and made recommendations for which ones would be funded. During COVID, that kind of went away to the point where it was just, I think pretty much everybody that applied that was eligible was being funded. And the match component went away at one point in time. But we are looking to bring that back as we had when this was initially launched.
Very good, thank you. Questions or comments? President Summer Bolden?
Quick question. Facade grants and these grants, are they available only to owner-occupied buildings, or can it be a renter in one of those?
So the owner of the business can be a renter, but we would need the owner of the property
to approve it,
to actually submit the application.
Okay, thank you. But would it go to the owner of the building? The grant would go to the owner of the building or to the renter?
It would need to go to the owner.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Would work with both, though. Would work with both entities.
Thank you.
To get done.
Very good. President Somerville.
Thank you so much. Just a quick question. If a business has gotten support in the past through Great Streets funding, are they able to reapply, or is it a one-time deal? How does that work?
So it's 3 years. If they've gotten support in the last 3 years, then they cannot. But if it's outside of that 3 years, then they're eligible.
Yep. Is there a lien placed on the property that's relieved at a percentage every year?
No.
As long as they're there? No? Interesting. Okay. Further questions or comments from anybody? Thank you so much for this, and yes.
Yeah, thank you. As we do have handouts we'll on the presentation that we'll give each of you, and as soon as we have the links to the applications and the like, so you can send them out to businesses or.
Isaiah, I'm hoping you're going to be busy here soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
on August 2nd or whatever date?
August 4th.
We do too.
Cool. Very good. We look forward to hearing the success stories that come out.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Our next committee today will be the Public Service Committee, and it will begin at 2 o'clock. Those committee members are Kamer, McKittrick, DeShazer, Bolden, and Lombardo. Again, that's the Public Service Committee, and it will begin at 2 o'clock. Thank you. Okay, it's 2 o'clock, and our next committee meeting is the Public Service Committee. Those committee members are Kamer, McKittrick, DeShazier, Bolden, and Lombardo. We do have all committee members present whenever you're ready, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, I'd like to move forward and call the public service meeting to order, please. All members are present, and we did hold a meeting last Monday, and can I get approval of those minutes, please?
So move for the minutes to be approved.
Second.
All right, I have all in favor of the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, thank you. We have quite a few pieces in front of us today, and I'm going to ask Sarah if she could begin to read in the first piece of legislation, please. I appreciate it.
Sure. The first piece under Public Service is item number 3. It's an ordinance authorizing the Director of Finance or his designee to reimburse Summa Health Systems for remediation and repair costs incurred as a result of a failed city water main that occurred September 7th, 2024, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Sarah, and we do have with us today our Service Director, Chris Luddle. Chris, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of committee. This legislation is to reimburse Summa for a failed water line connecting to the meter inside their building. This was a surgical room next to this utility room, which flooded the surgical room. The remediation that took place on this type of damage, especially being a surgical room, was drywall to be removed up a certain amount of feet in the room. All the flooring had to be removed. There was extensive dehumidification that was done for a few weeks. We're happy that Summa did work with us. They relocated those surgeries for that time period, so no surgery had to be delayed. It was just transferred to another operating room or surgical room. So we are working with the manufacturer and our water meter installer to get this taken care of, but we are going to reimburse Summa in the meantime.
All right, thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Committee members, any questions or comments for Chris Luddle today? Any other council members with us today? All right, well, with this being our last meeting, I'm encouraging public service to suspend the rules on this piece. Can I get a motion?
Motion to suspend the rules.
I have a motion and a second for suspension of the rules. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, thank you. That was our first piece. Sarah, if you could read in the next piece, please.
Item number 4 is an ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service to enter into an agreement with Buckeye Energy Brokers, Inc. for aggregation consulting services and any other required services related to the natural gas aggregation program for the City of Akron and ratifying any such services performed and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Sarah. Chris Luddle.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of committees. Yes, this agreement amendment that we are doing with Buckeye Energy Brokers, they manage our aggregation program. As you know, our natural gas aggregation program is for our residential customers and our small businesses that use under 5 MCF a month. So some of the larger ones, they connect it into our program. We are currently at $3.81 an MCF. And then right now, there are, with the winter we had last year, they're starting to build up more capacity. Our current program ends it's the November bill, which is the October usage. So we have been meeting with them regularly. Well, this will authorize us to enter into an agreement. Right now, I can't tell you if it's going to be 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. The current prices, as of about a month ago, were over $5 an MCF. And like I said, we were at $3.81. Just last week, we saw prices for 1 year at $4.50. I'm sorry, $4.60, and for 2 years, $4.70. So we're going to continue to monitor this, but with council being off for the next, the month on recess, if we do see a favorable price, we want to lock in, and then when you get back, we will let you know what those are. But Buckeye's been handling this for us since 2017. They're right down in the Greystone building at the corner of High and Mill. They've done a great job for us. With that, I could take any questions. I mean, just to remember, Enbridge is the new Dominion. Their charges are about $46 a month. That has nothing to do with the aggregation program. They just did get an increase of, I I believe it's 30 cents per MCF. So if you use 10 in the middle of winter, that means it's the 46, another $3 for the 30 cents. That takes you up to 49, and then for our 381, it's about $38 a month.
All right, thank you, I appreciate that. Committee members, any questions or comments for Chris Luddle? Seeing none, any other council members with us today? All right, like I said, this is our last meeting before recess. If I could get suspension of the rules, please.
Move for suspension of the rules.
Second.
All in favor of suspension of rules, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, thank you. Sarah, if you could, please.
Item number 5 is an ordinance declaring the necessity of determining to proceed with and levying special assessments for the improvement of certain streets in the city by constructing, reconstructing, and repairing concrete sidewalks, driveway approaches, curbs, retaining walls, and installing roof drain pipes, all in accordance with petitions submitted by property owners under the 2023 citywide sidewalk program and declaring an emergency.
Chris Luddle.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of committee. Yes, this is our assessment that the property owners will be assessed. Obviously, our sidewalk program is a petition process. The residents send in a petition. We do review that petition, and then we meet with them. The sidewalk program has been funded very well for the last several years at the tune of about $1 million, which allows us to do quite a few properties. So some of the 23 was carried over into 24. That's why we're now bringing it to you now. The next piece is the 24 program. So I can take any questions about the sidewalk program, but this allows us to assess the property owners. And they were given an estimate before, and now the project is done. They will receive a bill. They can pay it over 5 years, or they could put it on their property tax. They could put it on their property tax for 5 years, or they could pay it.
No, thank you, I appreciate that. Any questions or comments? Sidewalk program. I do have one question, just kind of bring us up to speed where we're at in regards to like the back.
So currently, this year's program, the contractors finished in Ward 9 and they're working in 3 and 4 and they're working their way around the city. Looking at today, once this year's program is completed, we have some in the second half of 24 and 25. Now, as you know, we have residents that call in or call 311. We send them out a petition. We generally send out a lot more than we receive back. And obviously, we're only going to enter the ones we receive back. So if you looked at it today, just as of last week, we only had 125 received in the queue. So if the program started today, we would have plenty of money to catch us up till the last one. Because with the funds that council's been authorizing, we can do about 220 to 225 properties a year. And like I said, right now we only have 125. There could be backlog that's not in this program. Now, we still have the rest of this year, and we have quite a few petitions that were sent out. So, you know, we could easily go over 225 by the end of the year.
No, that's good. I appreciate it. It's a good program, great program, actually. All right, with that, I don't see any questions or comments. Can I get suspension of the rules, please?
Motion for suspension of rules with a favorable report.
Second.
All in favor of suspension of rules, say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? All right, moving on to the next piece, please.
Item number 6 is an ordinance declaring the necessity of determining to proceed with and levying special assessments for the improvement of certain streets in the city by constructing, reconstructing, and repairing concrete sidewalks, driveway approaches, curbs, retaining walls, and installing roof drain pipes, all in accordance with petitions submitted by property owners under the 2024 citywide sidewalk program and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Sarah. Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. It's basically the same explanation, but this is all sidewalks, driveway aprons, and some curb repairs we did in the 24 last year's program, and now will allow us to assess those property owners for those improvements.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments? Committee members, any other council members with us? Seeing none, can I get suspension of the rules, please?
So moved. Favorable recommendation.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for suspension rules. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, say nay. Okay, we'll put that on, or we'll suspend the rules on that. Sarah, please.
Item number 7 is an ordinance determining to proceed with and levying special assessments for the improvement and maintenance of the off-street parking facilities in the Kenmore Business District and the Canton Road Business District and declaring an emergency.
Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of committee. This legislation will allow us to assess the property owners for the all-street parking of Canton Road and of Kenmore Boulevard. Back in April, we brought this legislation to you. We did an explanation of what we do. It's snow plowing, it's landscaping, it's true cost, and then that let us send all the property owners, the affected property owners, an estimate what those are. This legislation now is the notice to go ahead and issue those assessments to the property owners.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments from committee members? Any other council members with us today? All right, can I get a motion for suspension of the rules, please?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All in favor of suspension of rules, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, moving on to the next piece, please, Sarah.
Item number 8 is an ordinance approving the report of the Assessment Equalization Board selected pursuant to Section 53.03 of the Code of Ordinances of the City and Resolution Number 126/2025 to hear and determine all objections to the special assessments for the improvement of Shelburne between the termini of Canton Road and 30 feet west of Kreiner Avenue, Burn Street between the termini of Canton Road and Shelburne Avenue, High Grove Boulevard between the termini of Albrecht Avenue and 50 feet south of Davenport Avenue, Baker Avenue between 42 feet east of Massillon Road and 36 feet west of Hilbish Avenue, Income Drive between 110 feet east of Darrow Road and 150 feet east of Dorset Street, and Springfield Center Road between 45 east of Massillon Road and 73 feet west of Hilbish Avenue by the repair of concrete pavement, determining to proceed with the improvement and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Sarah. Chris Little.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of committee. This is the Concrete Streets Program 2025. This will allow us to assess this is the notice to proceed, I should say. So on April 7th, this council passed the resolution for us to send the affected property owners an estimate what this work's going to be. We did held a hearing last week for property owners to come in and talk about this, which we had a few, but most of these streets, or all of them, are in the Yellett area. We try to program these streets together to limit mobilization for our contractor. So now that we've held the hearing, this is to proceed with the improvements of these streets, and so now the contractor can start on these improvements.
All right, thank you, Chris. Committee members, any questions or comments for Mr. Little? Seeing none. Any other council members with us today? All right, suspension of rules, please, committee. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second. I have a motion and a second for suspension of rules. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, thank you. Moving forward, please.
Item number 9 is an ordinance determining to proceed with and levying special assessments for the improvement of certain streets in the city between certain termini by providing street cleaning services and street lighting, approving the report of the Assessment Equalization Board and declaring an emergency.
Chris Little.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of committee. As stated before, this was April 29th. We brought this to you to allow to assess the affected property owners in our street cleaning, street lighting program. It's an assessment that they receive on their property taxes. It goes on each half. We did hold a hearing last week. This was part of the same hearing. We did have a few property owners come in and we did discuss their assessment with them. So now that the hearing is over, this will allow us to assess for these benefits, street lighting and street sweeping. As you know, the biggest portion of the street cleaning assessment goes to the Public Works Department. That's all the sweeping of the streets throughout the year. That's our snow plowing, our snow and ice. That's also our leaf program.
All right, thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Any questions or comments for Mr. Little today? All right, seeing any, can I get a motion for suspension of the rules, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor of suspension of rules, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, moving on to the next piece, number 10, please.
Item number 10 is an ordinance determining to proceed with the improvement of North Main Street between the termini of Martin Luther King Boulevard and the northern corporate limit by resurfacing, constructing and reconstructing curbs, concrete sidewalks, driveway approaches, water service connections and water mains, installing roof drain pipes and planting trees, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Sarah. Chris Little.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of committee. This again is the North Main Street project, which we call Bridge to Bridge, from the high level all the way south to the Y Bridge. This project, I think we've talked about it quite a few times in the last few months. This council did pass an ordinance on April 21st to proceed with these improvements. We did hold a hearing last week. We had 3 residents show up about their assessments. We had no businesses, no commercial businesses that came, and either for or against during the hearings. So now that we're going to uphold the improvements or set forth by the board, this project or this legislation will give the notice to proceed. Some people think that this project has already started, which it has not. Enbridge has been out there for a few months. They have about another 3 weeks left on their improvements. And we thought if we're going to remove the street, both the surface course, the intermediate course, and rebuild the road, replace a 100-year-old water line, it would be prudent that they move their project up in the queue and replace the gas line at the same time, instead of coming back in a couple years and putting this gas line in. So this is the notice to proceed, sir, and I will take any questions.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Any questions or comments for Chris Little? Phil Lombardo?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Mr. Little. You know, again, this type of project coming into the ward is I know a lot of positives for the residents. Of course, I've had meetings in the past where it wasn't so positive. So, you know, I've seen the drawings from that, get the company straight, who's the engineering company? I want to say EDG or something like that.
EDG, yes, sir.
Oh, got it right. Okay, good. You know, very professional drawings, and, you know, the plan looks great on paper and everything like that. I just, you know, I'm going to stay consistent with what I believe in and what I've heard from my residents, that, you know, kind of making this a one-horse town, especially that main corridor. Just, I don't think, you know, I just don't think it's going to work as well as what is on paper. So, but again, definitely appreciate the, you know, certain improvements to the roads. No doubt, who doesn't like that? And I know, you know, Home Avenue is coming next, and we'll talk about that later. But I'm going to stay consistent with what I believe in on this one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Appreciate that. Any other questions or comments for Mr. Little from anyone? Any council members? Okay, obviously, our last meeting before recess, if I could get a motion for suspension of the rules.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for suspension of rules. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Nay.
Okay, just for the record, let's do a roll call. Sarah?
Kamer,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
DeShazier,
Aye.
Bolden,
Aye.
Lombardo.
Nay.
The motion passes 4-1.
Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate that. All right, we have our final 2 pieces in front of us. If Sarah could read that in, please. Thank you, Sarah.
Item number 11 is an ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee without the formality of advertising for bids to enter into a contract or contracts with Keep Akron Beautiful for the provision of litter control, recycling, graffiti removal, and beautification activities in the city of Akron and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Sarah. Chris Little?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. With me here, I think everybody knows Ms. Jackie Ricciuti. She's here to answer any questions. This is their annual contract. We did increase it, or council did, by another $100,000, which we're excited about. She needs to, she wants to put more boots on the ground to pick up trash and clean up the city, which we're all looking forward to. They've done a fantastic job. I will let you ask her any questions. I can answer any questions, but this is our annual contract, and we did bump it up. We have worked collaboratively with Jackie. There's a few tweaks we did to the contract. We're going to try to help them out with some places to bring the trash, the tires. We did get a grant to take the tires. They had their own contract with Leitner on Waterloo. We are now going to take those to help them lessen the burden and some of the other things that we're going to be helping with them and be more collaborative with them. They've done a fantastic job over the years. I think all of you have probably used them in award cleanup, that type of thing. So we're looking forward to getting this done. And I think the Recycle Right program has been going very well. But I'll let her answer any of those questions because they're out there still doing that.
All right, thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Obviously, we'll take questions from any committee members of public service first. And we see Councilman Lombardo, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, Ms. Ricciuti, thank you for being here. You know, what impresses me the most with Keep Akron Beautiful is the amount of work that you do with limited resources, you know, both maybe financially, employee-wise, and things like that. And this is great that, you know, Mr. Ludlow said you got an increase this year. That's great. It's appreciative. Probably as time goes on, it may not even still be enough, but we'll get to that. You know, I could talk about my top 5 calls that I receive as a councilman, and I'm sure maybe 3 or 4 out of those 5 are the same as council, my members to the right and to the left. One of them being, you know, litter in the city. And you know, I remember from previous meetings that you've had, you take the litter map, put it on top of the crime map, it's the same thing, you know, so we want to keep our city clean. All that to say, again, the Recycle Right program, that's an education to our residents, you know, to recycle right, put plastic, no bags, blah, blah, blah. I guess, I don't know, what else as far as educating the public are we doing? Just, you know, whether it's billboards or anything like that, just to keep reminding people, you know, again, trash has its place. Nobody likes it, you know? And I can go on about other towns you drive through, like, it's a breath of fresh air. And we're getting there in some cases, but can you just enlighten us on education?
Sure. So Keep America Beautiful has which is our parent organization, has a lot of litter research. We do go into the Akron Public Schools locations and private schools in the area that allow us in, but we're hoping to do more of that because, as we know with recycling, a lot of that starts with the children as well. So that is very important, but we also hope to use some of the money to do more education pieces because when we started Recycle Right, that was a huge part of it. More information to people's homes, more social media posts, that kind of thing, maybe some billboards, things of that nature, but we need to get to that because we need to be able to educate the public on why littering is wrong, what it does to the environment, what it does safety related. All of those things are super important. Keep Akron Beautiful is so grateful for all of your support, but in addition to the money that we receive from the city, we do fundraise another 55% of our budget. So the dollars work together, the private money that we receive as well. So that is in our list of goals.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Appreciate that. Councilman Bowman.
Just want to thank you again, Mr. Cutie, for all you do for the city. Years ago, I was a board member. It's been years, but I was, and I get to really see some of the work that Keep Akron Beautiful does. It was before Recycle Right, and I think that's something that's really been a linchpin. I know it was part of, I believe, part of the National League of Cities presentation that helped us to win an All-American City Award, and appreciate you being part of that, and the team that brought that up. There are a lot of good things that go on in the city that people don't know about. And they see the flowers, they don't know the hard work that goes into it. We appreciate that public-private partnership. We appreciate the way you work with the city and the way the service department works with you. We're glad you're here, and we're glad we can support this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Appreciate those comments. Councilwoman Sharon Conner.
Question. First of all, love your work, and you're always so responsive, especially, graffiti is such a problem, and you guys do such a great job at not only cleaning it, but cleaning it up quickly so that it doesn't escalate. So let me just say kudos to that. My question is trash cans. I have this big beef with trash cans. The big city ones are nice, but if you have a business, you don't want that big clunky trash can out front of the business. In a lot of our areas, we have those concrete ones that hold a can in them. Do we have more of those? I mean, because on a lot of busy streets, like even Pioneer, Goodyear Boulevard, there's only one. And, if you buy your soda at this end and you walk to that end and there's no trash can, that trash is going on the ground. So what do we have in place for like businesses, great streets, and not only great streets, the other streets, to encourage people to have more ability to throw their trash away? Because I believe people will do that if the receptacle is close by.
Generally, people will do the right thing when given the opportunity to do the right thing, and that's what the Keep America Beautiful research shows us. But I'm not in charge of those trash cans, so I don't know.
So the trash cans in the business district, and the legislation we had previously for, Canton Road and for Kenmore Boulevard, in those business districts where we place trash cans, they do pay an assessment for that service. Commercial establishments, we do not pick up their trash with our regular sanitation. They're responsible to do that with their own, whoever they pick for a sanitation company, okay? The trash cans you might see in the streets, we try to place those near bus stops if we can, and those construction are a four-sided open hole, but they have a tip lid. So our regular route, as they drive by, they could pick it up with the arm and dump it, okay? We do have some of those, but you're right. The more we can get out there, the more we can not generate more work for her or for her corporation or ours, is to place more trash cans where we can pick them up. But that does come for a cost too, right? So we are looking at that, how we can drive by and pick up the concrete ones. That's a special pickup by street cleaning or parks. They have, sometimes it's a parks responsibility, sometimes it's a street cleaning responsibility, or that's actually a manual thing where they get out, they pull off that lid, they pull out the can, they dump it. You're welcome.
Thank you, I appreciate those comments. I got one comment. I just want to thank you too for being so responsive. One of the things that really irks me is the fact that we have, I guess there are midnight tire repair services, and you wake up and you have 3 or 4 of them on a block where there's an empty lot. And I don't know what to do about it. I don't think you do either, but it comes to us in return cycles. I'm sure people who sit around this desk, you get it and you don't know what to do about it, but I just want to say I appreciate it.
I mean, the best thing, Councilman, is to call it in the 311, Sometimes KB picks them up, sometimes we pick them up, but it's just like the graffiti. If we can get it stopped, then 4 don't turn into 20, you know what I mean? Akron PD, the police department's been working with us the last couple of years where we did really curb this. We were going in to demo a house, and there might be 100 tires in it. So people are going there, I'm sure after hours where it's dark, and kicking in the back door and unloading their truck. And they just, I assume a truck, they're not putting those into a car. And then we got to get rid of those. So we do have a grant right now, thank goodness, where we're not actually paying to get rid of them. I'm not encouraging anybody to put more out. You could put 4 out a year with your regular sanitation on the curb. Other than that, I don't know too many families that need to buy 20 tires a year, okay? So we do pick those up.
Thanks, Councilman, appreciate that. Councilman Fusco?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it's been a long relationship, 45 years, I think, or 40 years. And I appreciate all that you do, along with all my colleagues, especially the ward folks out there. And you mentioned, Chris, that we got a grant for tire?
Yeah, so we have a company that comes out and collects the tires. We stockpile them at Triplet, and they pick them up.
Good.
Yes.
Very good. And of course,
as you know, we were paying Lightner like, I don't know, what did it start, like $1? Then it went to $2. What is it now? Now it's $4.
Gotcha.
So it is saving us money.
$4 per tire?
It started out like $1. to take it, and then it was 2, and then it was like he was getting so many, you'd have to call and says, no, I can't take any today. So this grant so far has been working out where we stockpile them and they pick them up.
Good. Just curious, because this, Keep Akron Beautiful, and I don't recall, but whenever we had researched that in the spring and before voting on the budget, like some years before, we had passed an increase budgetarily. We appreciate the relationship again and all the hard work and such, and it was a pretty sizable chunk, but its time was due, in terms of that increase itself. Just curious, like, what is it that we can see, because it was a pretty substantial increase.
What are
Yeah.
we doing with the money?
Yeah, exactly right, yeah.
So of the $100,000 increase, part of that $100,000 brought the Recycle Right campaign in underneath that contract. So prior to now, Keep Akron Beautiful was given funds to run the Recycle Right campaign in partnership with the city. So $40,000 of the $100,000 is money to run Recycle Right. So we no longer have multiple contracts with the city, it's all in one. So that true increase is about $60,000, and with that will be money spent towards litter and graffiti programming in the city. So adding more boots on the ground, more staff to help us remediate the litter. We find that we collect a lot more between April and November, so we're almost at August, so it may take us a little while to actually get someone back on the ground, or more people. I mean, we need to hire people, but we've been working for 7 months, and so now hopefully we can get paid back for all of the work that we've done so far, and then be
Very
able
good.
to hire some help.
Very good, thank you. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Councilman. All right, well, Council President Somerville.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. And again, Jackie, you've heard it. We're going to continue to say it. We just appreciate you so much for all the hard work that you do. And I think that is why council was so committed to making sure that we did do an increase so that you could be able to do more. But I will say we did not realize that out of that 100,000, 40,000 was going to go to this recycle program. That wasn't our intention. We really wanted to see you get that full 1,000. So I just want to kind of put that out there because we know that you'd be able to do more and really help address the litter problem that we're seeing in the city.
Thank you, Madam President. All right, with that, everyone, thanks for all your comments. And obviously, this is our last meeting before recess. So if I could, if you're wanting to, suspension of the rules.
Yeah, I'll make that motion to suspend the rules with a favorable report.
Second.
All in favor of suspension of rules, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, thank you. We'll suspend the rules on that. We have one final piece in front of us. Sarah, if you could read in that.
Item number 12 is an ordinance authorizing the purchasing agent or their designee to enter into a contract or contracts without the formality of advertising for bids to make an emergency purchase of CB1 product from Jacoby Carbons Incorporated for treatment of the city's water supply at Lake Rockwell and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Sarah. Chris Little.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of committee. It's been, I don't know, probably 6 years. I think we had to do this in 2019. This legislation will allow us to purchase 250 tons of powder-activated carbon. If Mr. Bernowski was here, he could explain it a lot better than myself about what it does. He calls it PAC. We have had some taste and odor concerns this year, but what powder-activated carbon, due to the extremely dry summer we had last year, and then with all the rain we had this year, we had a lot of turnover in our watershed, and we had to increase our chemicals. We are not out by any means, but this legislation will allow us to continue with this amount of purchase throughout the rest of this year and into 26 to make sure we have plenty of supplies. There's no shelf life on this powder-activated carbon, and we can only store so much, but this will allow us to keep those supplies up throughout the rest of the year into next year. And obviously powder activated carbon, you know, we use less alum, and this helps remove the suspended solids. This is all in the raw water. This isn't in the water you drink. This is in the raw water process before it goes through the full treatment process at the plant.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments in regards to this for Chris? Seeing none, suspend the rules, please.
Motion for suspension of the rules with favorable report.
Second.
All in favor of suspension of rules, say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? All right, we'll present that all this evening. Nothing else. We are adjourned. While you're, this
Awesome.
I was in your next.
What's next?
Yes.
We'll begin public safety in just a few moments. Okay, we're ready to begin the Public Safety Committee meeting. Again, those committee members are McKittrick, Kamer, Lombardo, Hanna, and Davis. We do have all committee members present whenever you're ready, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Clerk Viviano. We have one new piece to come before public safety today, but before we do that, could I get a motion for approval of our prior minutes?
Motion to accept.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. The piece coming before us today is a resolution opposing and objecting to the renewal application of 818 LLC, 1800 Merriman Road, Akron, Ohio, 44313 for a Class D5 and D6 liquor permit, 2455377 before the Division of Liquor Control and declaring an emergency. I see we have our Chief Prosecutor here, Craig Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. The property at 1800 Merriman has operated for a number of years, but it went through a recent rebranding process with the new establishment opening in April of this year. Over the last year or so, the property has had approximately 50 calls for service, which is high for that kind of time frame for other liquor permit premises. But the one thing that stands out is since the property reopened in April of this year, almost 1/3 of the calls for service have come since that time. And also the intensity or the severity of the nature of calls has dramatically increased under the new management. This includes not only some shots fired calls, a number of fights, parking complaints, but it really did culminate with a shooting that resulted in a homicide in the early morning hours of May 18th. So, of course, with the passage of this, it simply triggers a hearing before the Division of Liquor Control. And if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, Mr. Bergen. I have one quick question. Do we have any experience with the new owners here with previous problems within the city with maybe a previous location, or is this just new for them?
With the new management, no. They came in from, no experience here in the city previously. The permit is still under the old owner's name. It hasn't been transferred, so of course, in between now and the time this hearing is scheduled, there could be a transfer application. Usually what happens in those situations is the Division of Liquor Control consolidates the matter. We did attempt to discuss the matter with the current owner and the new owner to try to put in place measures to abate these conditions. But of course, at this point in time, because of council's recess, these objections don't become ripe until September 1st. We have to have them in before then. So that's the reason for getting the objection in now. Councilman Bolden wanted to be prophylactic, and I certainly appreciate that position.
Okay, thank you for that. Do you have any questions from any committee members or comments from committee members? Council members? Councilman Bolden.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Morgan. I have forwarded via email the list of violations and calls to each member of the Public Safety Committee. I did not include you, President Somerville. I will do that. But this has been a problem, especially since the May 18th, where there was someone was unfortunately killed. The businesses down there are very concerned. They've invested a lot of money. We're trying to do this. I look at the valley as the economic development possibility for Ward 8. We've got a new business coming in this week down there that is excited to be there. The Portal West is looking to possibly expand. We're looking at all sorts of things we're trying to do. Corona Park, just the other side of this, in the residential district. The neighbors there are very concerned about this. They've heard the shots in the middle of the night. They've heard the parties that go on. One bad apple, as they say, spoils the whole bunch. And I really don't want to see this tear down the valley with all that we're doing down there. And would really appreciate your support in making sure that we do fight this liquor license.
Thank you, Councilman. Any questions or comments from any other council members? I'm assuming suspension of the rules would be appropriate since we are going to be on break.
Indeed, sir. Thank you.
All right. Could I get a motion for suspension of the rules?
I'll make that motion to suspend the rules with a favorable report.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for suspension of the rules. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll get that out tonight, and hopefully we can have a motion during council this evening for council as a whole on this. So thank you very much for your time, sir, and nothing further come before public safety. We will be adjourned.
That is our final committee meeting of the day. Council will meet in special session at 5 o'clock. Thank you.